running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up, it's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't be scared. Just give me up. Don't be scared. And if you get in my way, you gonna feel the wrath. Gotta say it to my face while he's looking back. Mirror breaks after math. When I hate, I attack. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't be scared. Just give me up. Don't be scared. Just coming into Portland here. Hope you guys enjoyed the little bit of B-roll coming in. Wanted to get a nice shot of the gorge coming into Portland here. It's been a rainy morning. It looks like we've got a little bit of separation. Clouds ahead of us, so we're headed south here, but I figured we'll talk about a couple things that I have been seeing lately in a lot of my feeds, and that kind of relate to driving, driver's rights, situational awareness, things of that sort. So let's talk about rights for a driver. Had a situation recently happen to me, but I've seen a lot of the same kind of scenarios.
And first I want to talk about the fact that as a CDL holder, you are required to assist in DOT inspections. Now, there are a lot of drivers out there that feel that that is a constitutional violation to our rights. Well, it's not. The reason is because the fact that you are titled as a professional driver. Being titled as such requires you to operate the truck for inspections. Now, for those of you that don't understand what I'm talking about with inspections, the FMCSA is the ruling force for the government that is over commercial vehicles. So basically what happens is, as we roll through port of entries and scale houses, weigh stations, that sucks. Anyway, as we roll through the weigh stations, things like that, they have scale masters, but they also have inspectors. So these inspectors, their job is to regulate the safety and operation of our trucks. So it's basically an audit on us to verify that we're doing our job and we're keeping our trucks safe. I personally don't mind them, but what I will say is over the years they have made it harder and harder and harder to pass. Our roads get horrible, like they get worse as the years go on, but the regulations get tougher on us. So it's kind of one of those crappy situations. So there's really, and the problem is also is that they break more criteria for what they call an out of service, which is basically shutting the truck down until repairs are made on certain criteria. They make it reportable to our insurances, and it actually causes our insurance to go up. Now, this truck's a machine. It's going to have issues, like just like your car going down the road. But it kind of sucks because our insurance is already high. We have to carry certain amounts, and we always have scammers out here that are trying to cause us to hit them, wreck into them, and any of that because of the fact of how our insurance is made. Now, I've got a camera sitting up here in my windshield that is a security blanket for such things. And so, those are the type of aspects we have to try to protect ourselves from, but it just kind of sucks if we get an out of service. Now, as we go on with the inspection, you have 3 different types that rule, like basically for me. A level 3 inspection is one of the easiest inspections that we deal with. Basically what they do is they will have me send my ELD, my logbook. They'll give me a code, I type it in, and I send it for a review. It goes into a program that automatically reviews my last 7 days. In doing so, it basically flags any violations. It used to be that the troopers would have to go and visually inspect it and check a lot of that stuff out. Now, the other part that they have to do is check my registration, my insurance, my IFTA certificate. Ooh, it got windy. That's crazy. It hasn't been windy all morning. Now I'm in it. Anyway, so yeah, they check all my stuff, my criterias, my license, make sure my DOT medical card is correct, all these different things. Now, it's usually only takes about 15 minutes. I've had them done in as fast as like 8. So it's just kind of fun to sit and talk with the troopers and just have a little fun with them, because half the time they're just trying to do busy work, stay busy. You know, and like I said, you deal with troopers and you deal with inspectors. The scale house inspectors that are just stationed at the scale house that aren't rotating troopers, those ones I've found, there's some that have a good sense of humor, there's some that just are, holy crap, they need a better job. They are just horrible. And so I kind of take it as my own mission to try to make them smile by the end of this. So there's a lot of different tricks that I've learned over my years of driving that have helped me dealing with a lot of these scale houses. And just one thing is just being friendly. You know, if you can make them smile and you're not being combative, usually they go along, it goes a long way. Like, they don't try to dig and find violations. There's some of them that are trying to make their own name, and they will just do it no matter what. But there's a lot of the guys that they're just trying to do their job, and if you're being polite and professional, then they're going to be polite and professional with you, and they're not going to dig for a violation. They understand full-heartedly what is going on, and they don't want to jam you up. There's a lot of good ones that are that way. So, but you need to also understand that as a driver, you have to present all these things to them. That it is a full criteria. You do not, and I repeat, you do not have to have a reason to get stopped. Your reason is the fact that you are a commercial driver. Your reason is because your driver's license says professional driver. So I can't say that enough, that professional driver is all that they need to stop you. It's in the job description. Like, it's just gonna happen. So just understand that FMCSA has regulations saying that as a driver you are to assist with inspections. If you don't, or you refuse, then you can have your truck impounded. You can have your driver's license suspended or revoked. These are all just different things that can happen according to the state that you're in, because the states have other regulations to that as well. So you need to understand that it's just better to go along, get it done with, and be done with it. If you got nothing to hide, then do it. Like, fighting it's just gonna piss them off, and you're just gonna have more issues. So come on. Anyway, but there are times that you can stand your ground, and I want to make that perfectly clear. There are a lot of times that you can stand your ground, but in any type of public setting, public property, state property, any of that stuff, you don't have a prayer. Go along with the inspection, get it done. Now, a level 2 inspection is a little more thorough. They go through and they thump your tires, visually inspect your tires and rims. They check all your lights, and then check your paperwork as well. So there's a little bit longer there. A level 1 inspection, they're getting underneath the truck. So they do all that stuff that I just talked about in the level 2, but then they go underneath your truck and they check the brakes, airlines. They're checking for your electrical, you're checking all of your brake applications. So if you hit your brakes, we have slack adjusters, which the slack adjuster pushes on your S-cam, which expands your brake pads out onto the drums, and you have to have that within a certain range to be in tolerance. That way it's just good stopping power. So they're checking a lot of that stuff. And personally, I like inspections. That's what that little sticker is down on the windshield, is an inspection. I personally, like I said, I like them because having another set of eyes that can go over your truck and just make sure that everything's looking good is kind of nice to have. I do not like the fact of how it's been turned into like a weapon against truckers, and I feel like it's more to get us in trouble than it is to help us, or anything in the name of safety. So I want that, you know, put out there as well. But I do like the guys that there's a few troopers and inspectors that have come from the trucking world and have become inspectors, and those guys know how it is, so they are more than willing to give you breaks because they know that they know what a trucker's just basically being lazy about, or what is just something that you're not going to see, because there's a lot of components that I cannot see on an inspection unless I get underneath the truck. So that's a lot of the points there. And you know, there are some regulations that have helped with that to not put it on us. So that's some of the part there. But there's also called a DAC report that some of these inspections kind of fall back on us, and there's certain aspects of an inspection of an out of service that can fall back on their DAC report, which the feds turn around and use to basically itemize certain things against a driver. And then if you get a certain point, then you can be basically shadowed by the DOT before they take your license. Now, I want to put out there that yes, all these things are in place. These are all regulations that have come in since I started driving in 08. And it's gotten worse and worse, and it keeps getting worse. And the problem is we have regulations that are being put into place by people that have never been in a truck. So that's another criteria that falls under the situation, is the people that make our rules have never been in a truck, never done the job, but they feel like they can tell us how to do our job. And I feel that's very, very misguided. So I want to make that very clear as well, is if you're going to make rules about our job, you should at least have done it. Because we know out here on the road what works, what doesn't. Hours of service laws are stupid, are completely ridiculous. You know, this computer tells me when I'm tired. So, personally, I'm in favor of getting rid of the drive line. We already get to work 14 hours a day. So I say just get rid of the drive line on it. You can keep the break time on there. Get rid of the drive time. Let me work 14 hours to 16 hours a day. Because at that point, then I can keep on a schedule with a sleep pattern. And then if I'm driving cross country, which sometimes I do, I'm not having to shut down at 11 hours and then try to force myself to go to sleep just to get back up at 10 hours down. Because a lot of times there's a lot of guys, we shut down, we can't fall asleep. We're laying in bed twiddling our thumbs trying to get ourselves to get tired, and then we don't fall asleep for 2-3 hours, 4 hours, and then we're waking up 6 hours later trying to get the sleep out of our eyes because our alarms have gone off and it's time to get back on the road. The clock's good, got to put the rubber down and go. So, you know, that would be a criteria that would benefit truck drivers, is being able to get rid of the drive line on our ELDs and be able to just run out our on-duty time, our shift time. So that is a suggestion. I'm just putting that out there. Anyway, so let's talk about being pulled over for a roadside inspection. So this is where my story comes into play. Is I was pulling into a truck stop a couple weeks ago, and I was just pulling in to get fuel, private property. When I pulled in, there were two troopers that were doing an inspection, and I believe they put the vehicle out of service, but they were already there. Now, I pulled into the parking lot. Traffic stop was never initiated on me. The troopers never told me to stop. None of that stuff. Nothing at all. So I want to make that perfectly clear. Nothing was said to me pulling into this private property. I pulled up to get fuel. I started fueling my truck. One of the troopers pulled in behind me, turned his lights on, got out of his car, and proceeded to walk up and tell me that he was going to give me a level 1 inspection. That as soon as I was done fueling, I needed to pull around over to this section of the truck stop so that he can proceed to give me an inspection. Well, I told him no, that I wasn't going to do that. And we went back and forth, and I just proceeded to tell him that no, he did not initiate a traffic stop coming into the private property, that he was already in the private property with somebody else and never initiated on me. And he turned around and told me, tried to make this into a bigger deal than it needed to be. And I proceeded to tell him that I was not going to participate in this. Now, this trooper turned around and told me that I had to participate. I had to do this. And I told him that because he did not initiate a traffic stop on me and follow me into the private property, and because the traffic stop was not initiated on public property or state highway, that it was a invalid stop. So he proceeded to say, well, is this really the way you want to go with this? And I said, well, if you want to push this, I want your badge number and your supervisor's phone number, because I am going to call and file a complaint, because this is a violation of my rights, which is technically true. The police cannot harass you on private property. So if he was to have turned on his lights behind me before I had pulled in, or as I was pulling in, I want to make that clear as well. If he would have been behind me, following me into the truck stop with the intention of stopping me, fully legal, 100%. So at that point, yes, 100%, I have to obey what he's telling me to do. But because he did not do any of those things and just basically pulled up to me after he was done, because I was just an easy target and I was already stopped in there, it doesn't make it a valid stop. So, but that was my criteria, is I told him if he's going to push it and continue to push it, that I was going to file a complaint. So I asked him for what I needed. He turned around and went back to his car, got on the phone, and I proceeded to finish fueling my truck. Well, I believe, and this is my speculation and opinion, is I believe this trooper went and called his supervisor, and in doing so, his supervisor basically told him it was illegal, like what he was doing wasn't right. The trooper came back to me and said, okay, well, if you're not gonna do an inspection here, which way are you going when you pull out of the truck stop? And this wasn't professional of me, I know, but the smart aleck in me took over. So I told him, I was like, well, I might be making a right, I might be making a left at the light, I just don't know right now. And he just says, is that really how you're gonna be? Is that really how you want to play this? And I told him, I'm not here to do your job and make your job easy for you. So I told him he can wait for me outside there, that's perfectly fine, but I'm not gonna tell him which way I'm planning on going. Obviously the trooper didn't see me coming into which direction I was traveling when I came into the truck stop. So anyway, he proceeds to then ask me, well, how long are you going to be here? Which again, smart aleck in me came out, and I said, well, you know, I'm gonna get done here, I'm probably gonna pull around and get a lightweight on my truck, and then I'm kind of feeling a little tired, so I might just pull over here and take a nap, because, you know, we don't want to be driving while tired. That's just as bad as DUI. And the trooper turned around and says, really? That's how this is going to be? And I was like, yep. So we left at that situation. He walked away upset, obviously. Got back into his car and turned around and left. And then he made a left out of the traffic, out of the light, and went up the highway. He went up the mountain pass to set up again. Mind you, I had already come down that mountain pass, and I was actually going the opposite direction from where he was going to set up. His buddy, on the other hand, turned around and pulled over next to the truck that was delivering fuel. I pulled off the fuel island, went around the building, and pulled onto the scale. Got followed by his buddy, who was watching me. I pulled onto the scale. The other trooper pulled up, parked, watched me, and I clearly could see him, so I was not gonna play this game. So I pulled off, went and parked the truck after getting the scale weight, and parked the truck and just sat there for about 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes. In doing so, the other trooper basically got frustrated and left. So, and I watched him leave, and as soon as I watched him leave, I left. Now, I want to sum something up. If this trooper would have left and just went up the road a little bit where he could see the exit of this truck stop and saw me leave and go back on public highway and pulled me over, 100% I would have fully supported everything they did, every bit of the inspection. I would have participated 100%. I want to make that perfectly clear. By no means am I trying to be hard for these guys to do their job, because they have a job to do, and I respect that. What I don't respect is trying to harass me when you know, or should know, that you don't have a right to do that. Now, like I said, if he'd initiated pulling into the truck stop, 100% legal. If the facility truck stop has called them about a situation that's going on in there that's involving me, they have the right to come and contact me. So they absolutely have the right to contact me if they're brought in. But as for private property, being that it is a truck stop and it is owned by a private entity, and I am a customer of that entity, unless that customer is trying to trespass me, or I'm sorry, if that place is trying to trespass me as a customer, then they have no right or reason to contact me. Now, they can be friendly, and obviously you want to be friendly with police officers if they're just saying hi as they're passing by and stuff like that. You want to still have that professional courtesy and things like that, just being a good human. But in the sense of any of the other stuff, you know, technically, unless they have a lawful reason to conduct business with you, they really cannot conduct business with you. So, you know, and being in public eye is another part. So I do want to speculate this as well. If I was to have pulled into that truck stop and say I had a blown tire or an obvious violation, he has the right as a DOT inspector to contact me. Now, if I told him, yes, I know about it and my truck is out of service because I'm just pulling in here to make it safe for my tire guy to come change the tire, and I tell him, you have to tell these guys, my truck is out of service. I have put it out of service because it has a blown tire. And make sure you record this. Like a lot of these things, a lot of these guys, now mind you, a lot of these guys wear body cams, so you have the right to make sure their body cam is on. But do a recording for yourself as well. Like if you're being approached knowing you have something wrong, record it. Like tell them, hey, my truck is out of service. I blew a tire just up the road and this was a safe place for me to stop. So my truck is out of service for a blown tire and whatever damages that are caused by that blown tire. At that point, if he is to proceed and conduct an inspection and force an inspection because of an obvious violation and an obvious out of service, then he actually can get in trouble by the FMCSA, because as a DOT driver, you have the right to put your truck out of service. So that is a big one. Now there's a video that's going around YouTube, I've seen it a few times, of Tennessee troopers pulling up to a guy who's in line at a, I believe it was a TA or a Petro, that is going in to try to get repair done. It's a few years old of a video, but they pulled up, told him that they were going to give him an inspection because he had a blown tire. Obvious violation. Again, they can contact that because it's an obvious violation. They can see it. And there's tread on the freeway, if I remember right, they utilize that. That driver had the right to refuse by saying, my truck is out of service, I have put it out of service, and I am not going to conduct an inspection on it or allow an inspection to be conducted on it because the truck is out of service by my standards and my company standards. It's going into the shop to be repaired. That said to them, they should, if they're good and do their job properly, they should verify, they'll probably will verify that that's what's going on, that you're not lying to them. But if you tell them the truck's out of service, technically they shouldn't harass you. And it gives you a little more legal ground to fight the inspection because they're going to put you out of service. So, but the problem is it goes on your safety report with the FMCSA, which also affects your brokers and safety score with your brokers, so that affects you getting loads, and it also affects your insurance and will cause your insurance to go up. So these are all things that happen, but this is why I say you need to know what your rights as a driver are. Now, there's another sense in this. If you are parked at a rest area and you're sleeping and you say for instance you're 6 hours into your rest period and troopers come and knock on your door, wake you up, and you tell them, hey man, I've got 4 more hours before I am legal to get on my clock, my reset will be done. And they tell you, nope, I want you to go on duty, we're doing an inspection. It's an asshole move, excuse my language on that, but it has happened. The state of Iowa has done it. I've seen it done. Wasn't happy about what I witnessed there too. That truck driver had every right to be as angry as he was, because he was 8 hours into a rest period and was forced to go on duty for a inspection. Well, let me continue with this. Because they forced him to go on duty for an inspection, that basically broke up his his sleep and off-duty time, and basically caused it to where now he's got to take an additional 10 hours off to get a reset on his clock. That's what sucks, is that now you have created a safety hazard for that driver, because he is 8 hours into a rest period and most likely is just about to wake up anyway so he can get breakfast and get everything ready to go so he can go on duty. And now, because that trooper turned around and made a decision that he was going to do an inspection, has now put a problem in his sleep schedule, and now he's going to be up all day waiting 10 more hours so that he can finally roll. So that's the crazy part about this whole thing, is you have to restart this. Now, a lot of troopers won't do that. I want to make that very clear. There's a lot of troopers out there that will not do that to a guy. They're understanding, especially if you turn around and show him your ELD and say, dude, look at this. This is how long I've been off. Give me like this long and then we can do an inspection. Please, just work with me. I'll work with you. And there's a lot of that professional courtesy. There are few, and I want to put it as very, very, very simply, few guys that are out there that would do this. Like the majority of inspectors and troopers will not screw up your rest period, because they understand the safety part of it and they don't want to make a situation bad. Because say for instance that driver goes down the road 10 hours later, he didn't sleep anymore during the day because he was wide awake. Now he's got a deadline for a load that he's got to get delivered, or he basically has to pay for that load, and now he's rushing it, pushing himself past his own abilities, and has an accident. Well, because he had that accident, now he has the right to basically file a lawsuit against that agency. So that's something that most guys are aware of, and I do say, like, they're very aware and understanding. So, right, let's see who's gonna be nice. Anyway, so yeah, just knowing your rights on those aspects can go a long way. I know it seems like I'm rambling, but this is very important, especially for new drivers, to fully understand the facts of what their rights are, what obligations they have to abide by. Like, that is a very big one. It's just knowing what you are responsible for, what you need to abide by when it comes to the law, being prepared for different things. So, because I mean, at any point in time, just to say for instance, I could have a trooper roll up behind me, turn on his lights, pull me over, and wants to do an inspection. So make sure your stuff's up to snuff. Like, don't give them a freebie. You know, these troopers they're not looking for it. The majority of them are not looking for that violation out of service. But there is an outcry right now of drivers that should not be drivers. And, you know, our troopers are really, really working hard to assist with that and get these guys back in line. Read an article the other day about it, that during the Biden presidency, he made it extremely easy for foreigners and some of these refugees to get CDL licenses without reading and writing English. Now, thank you to Arkansas. I really appreciate the fact that they're enforcing this, but there's now a law in Arkansas that you have to basically read and write English to hold a CDL, or you will have your truck impounded, and possibly, I have to read the law, but I believe some of the drivers are being arrested from what some of the videos I've been seeing. Now, that law is on the book for the FMCSA. That is a guideline and a rule to obtain a CDL. About 7 years ago, no, longer than that, it's back in the Obama, towards the end of the Obama administration, before Trump came in, they implemented that all DOT inspectors no longer had to enforce the speaking English. And that was brought to my attention by a Nevada state trooper who told me that they cannot put a guy out of service or write a violation for it. And that's troublesome. I think I've spoken about it in past videos about the fact that that's why a lot of these guys are wrecking, is they're coming over from Middle East, Ukraine, Russia, Pakistan. We're getting a lot of these foreign drivers that are coming over. They can't read our languages, and then they get in this kind of weather, or they get into snow. I mean, they get into very bad inclement weather. They can't read these signs. They don't know what our signs mean for like hills and stuff like that. And then also they don't run these. So I can't tell you how many times this radio right here, this CB radio, has saved my butt from being involved in a big pileup. But guys don't run them anymore. Companies aren't putting them in. This is a safety tool. I've got a speaker right here, and that basically tells me, like, I can listen to the other drivers hollering at me if I've got something wrong, or if I've got something going on, and they basically get a hold of me, let me know what's going on traffic ahead or different situations. So like I say, these are all implemented tools that the industry has had for years, you know, centuries. The guys that came up beforehand started using this stuff, and before that it was hand signals. I was taught by my dad, and my dad, there's some interesting hand signals that truck drivers used to give each other when they would pass each other on the road. One, putting a logbook up on the dash. You know, this book right here, that's my logbook, because you're supposed to carry paper logs in case that goes down. But anyway, so they would put their logbook up on there, and that would just tell the driver going the other way that there's a DOT officer ahead that's checking logbooks or checking papers. It would just give him an opportunity to know that what he's going into. So if he needs to adjust his logbook, update it, or back in their day, write another logbook. But the drivers from the 70s, 80s, man, those guys, they are definitely the pioneers of this era. Like, they made trucking fun, and they truly were like the knights of the highway. Like, they were some of the best drivers, and what made trucking fun. It was a freedom to have the ability just to go out and do your own thing and have fun. That's what I love about this job, is that you get to see pretty places. You get to see gorgeous areas. I love up here in the Northwest. All these trees, all the green. It sucks that it rains so much, but it's a fun place to be, no matter how you look at it. So, it can be just absolutely beautiful and fun and amazing, and then other days it can be some of the worst weather you've ever seen. It's always a challenge. And that's the fun thing about being a truck driver, is the challenges that you fall under. So some of the stress that comes along with it isn't as fun, but I mean, we can talk about that in a later video and talk about what goes along with being a truck driver. But I hope this video really helped people. I really hope that it opened some eyes. If you have any more questions about it, please hit me up. I would love to answer whatever anybody has questions when it comes to driver's rights. Just remember the fact of being professional. Don't allow, you know, somebody's attitude to wreck your day or cause you to look bad. You represent an industry. Remember that. Like, you represent the rest of us when you deal with these guys, because you might piss them off and they take it out on somebody that didn't deserve it, because you ran your stuff right. He couldn't find something, so he found something on somebody else and he just stuck it to him. You know, I will say this about most troopers, it has changed in the time that I've been driving. When I first started driving, it was a very big, still us versus them kind of mentality. Troopers were always out to get violations, and they were never about education. It was always about violation this, violation that. They never really tried to do things properly. Nowadays, more and more states are getting away from the funding of DOT coming from the Treasury Department. It's now going out of the Public Safety Department, and I'm in 100% support of that. Colorado and I believe Nevada and Utah are all that way. With that being said, because of the fact it's coming out of public safety, it takes a lot of stress off of the officers themselves to have to write tickets and things like that for revenue. Now they have the opportunity to basically teach a driver what new regulations are. And I think that that is a good thing that needs to happen, because being as a driver, I don't have time all the time to keep up with the laws. The laws are always changing. Regulations are always changing. So I can't just stay sitting there every morning looking up, oh, did they change this? Oh, did they change this? So there's a lot of things that I could pull in and they'd be like, oh yeah, this is a new law that went into effect this time. And I'd be like, oh crap, all right, well, I'm in violation of that now. And a lot of these places like Utah and Nevada and Colorado have turned it more into an educational thing and giving warnings and just being like, hey, you know, this is this, and then they print out the sheet and give you the law. I can't tell you how many times I've had that happen, where they print it out for you, give you the law, and then they ask you, do you have any questions about this? Do you want to go over this with me and we can have an understanding? Like, that is such a big deal in this industry, is just being the fact that we all have the same goal. We all want to be safe. And even though the DOT is basically our auditors for our jobs, you don't need somebody that is there to get you in trouble and get you fired or take away your livelihood. What we need is teachers. We need guys that are willing, guys and girls that are willing to sit down with you and go, hey, this is the regulation, let's go over the law, let's have a better understanding about it, and let's educate on this. Because I guarantee that if a trooper read me a certain law, I'm going to interpret that different than them. And that's perfectly fine. What's even better about that is if we can have a conversation about it and turn around and be able to come to an agreement on what the definition of this law is, unless it's completely black and white. So if it's a black and white law and we're good, cool, let's go with it. So, oh, this is gonna be fun. Guarantee this port of entry is open, and they just don't have pre-pass on. So this is one of those stressful things where you're rolling up on it and it's like, oh, all right. I'm already running late in my day as it is because I had to get a windshield replaced. I'll try to add that picture in of what my last windshield, what happened to it. I got a picture of it. Oh, that's surprising it's closed. I hardly ever see this one closed. That's very surprising. Happy day, don't have to waste time going in. Anyway, so yeah, I had a windshield last week. Was passing the what I call a Mexican car train, which are basically the cheapskates that buy wrecked cars and then they tie them 3 in a row, and then they go down the road. They don't have proper lighting, they don't have proper insurance on them, they're trying to run off dealer plates. They're illegal in all the states that they travel in because they're not registered vehicles. They're not road safe vehicles. Even if they're in tow, they're not road safe. Like, they should not be rolling. And you get these guys going down the road, they're losing parts off their cars because they've been in an accident, they're not pulling straight, the lighting's not working correctly, and most of these guys try to run at night because they know they're illegal. And so yeah, this guy was going past me on a 2-lane road, and a part came off one of his cars, came up, hit my windshield right here below, just about right there on my windshield. Hopefully I pointed to the right section, but it hit it so hard, it busted out the outer layer of the windshield, broke the inside layer of the windshield, and shattered that part of it. I had glass that flew into my cab, glass all over my dash, into my sleeper, all over my fridge right here in the center, all kinds of freaking stuff. And it made me mad because I had a bag of Doritos that was half eaten sitting right here on my fridge, and I had to throw it all away because it got glass in it. So, and you don't mess with a man with his Doritos. That's a cardinal sin. But anyway, so I had to freaking wait yesterday, get a windshield replaced on it. Which, shout out to Windshield Connection out of Utah. They're based, I believe, in Ogden, Utah. If you guys find them online, use them. I absolutely cannot recommend them enough. Windshield Connection out of Ogden, Utah. They are absolutely phenomenal. They'll come out to your house. They will do chip sealing for, like, I think it's $50 for a chip seal. And that's like doing the whole windshield, like every chip seal that's on your windshield. They don't do it but they do it for like the whole windshield. So if you've got multiple chip seals, they'll just come out and fill them all. My windshield was like $500. So, which it was already needing to be replaced. I just hadn't got around to it because I had to order the glass in, but I finally got the glass. They finally got the glass in, and then that freaking happened. So, but yeah, like I said, Windshield Connection, fantastic people, real fun to work with, really nice people to deal with. So definitely highly recommend them. Definitely, if you're in the Salt Lake area, give them a call and set up an appointment with them, because they are absolutely wonderful to deal with. So really easy people to get in and get done. I mean, they had my windshield changed in 30 minutes. I think it was right around 30 minutes. And they've done my pickup truck when I was running a pickup truck before I got this Peterbilt. They got that done, and then they got they've done my wife's car, both her cars, and then they've done my daughter's car. Yeah, just like I said, fantastic people. They take care of all the guys that I work with as well. So best bang for the buck. That's all I can say. Very reasonable people. But anyway, enough about that. So, like I said, I hope this video was very enlightening on certain aspects. I'm gonna probably cut it off here. Maybe I'll add some more later on, but I'm gonna cut it off here. I got to get into this location for delivery, get over, get loaded, and then the rest of the night will be headed south towards California. So thank you guys for watching, and please like and subscribe if you like this. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to have any type of discussion with anybody about rights, about different things. Remember, stay classy and professional if you're a driver. You know, let's bring the professionalism back to this industry, and let's just work together, keep them safe. So thank you guys, hope everybody stays safe, and we'll see you in the next one.
I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gonna live it up on the attack. Baby, I'm bad, I just wanna get caught up in this life. I'm crazy, I'm mad, doing no cap. Only God wants, so you better go live it up. Cash in the bag, stadium packed. Baby, I'm bad,
Yeah.
baby, I'm bad.
I just wanna stay bad, stay mad, chip on my shoulder cause they treat me like an outcast. I ain't gonna take that, stay back, I'll be swinging hard till the hits come in all caps. I ain't gonna lay back, pray that someone's gonna help me, ain't nobody like that. I ain't gonna wait, that's all fact, give me one shot and I'll never get the throne back. I'm sick of being cautious, I'ma go cause something, can't stop this. I'ma steal everybody's lane, call it shoplift. Sick of hearing everyone complain when they thoughtless. Taste the pain, it's like candy canes. It makes me go change into a better frame, into a better name. Society's insane, we all live for fame, yeah. Cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gonna live it up on the attack. Baby, I'm bad, I just wanna get caught up in this life. I'm crazy, I'm mad, do it no cap. Only God wants, so you better go live it up. Cash in the bag, stadium packed. Baby, I'm bad, baby, I'm bad. I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gonna live it up. Baby, I'm bad, I just wanna get caught up in this life. I'm crazy, I'm mad, do it no cap. Only God wants, you better go live it up. Cash in the bag, stadium packed. Baby, I'm bad, baby, I'm bad. Cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gonna live it up on the attack. Baby, I'm bad, I just wanna get caught up in this life. I'm crazy, I'm mad, do it no cap. Only God wants, you better go live it up. Cash in the bag, stadium packed. Baby, I'm bad, baby, I'm bad. I won't obey. You cannot tell me what I cannot say. I'm here to last, so yeah, I'm here to stay. I'll live each second like my final day. You can't take that away, yeah. Cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gonna live it up on the attack. Baby, I'm bad, I just wanna get caught up in this life. I'm crazy, I'm mad, do it no cap. Only God wants, so you better go live it up. Cash in the bag, stadium packed. Baby, I'm bad.